to episode 4 of the Godcast. We are in October, or actually November, but we're recapping October. This month had some music, some notable music, but not as much as like previous months, I don't think.
Yeah.
Previous months, it was like popping, dude. There was like releases like constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this month, it was kind of spaced out, which is pretty cool. That being said,
cheers.
how you been? That good, huh?
I've been good.
Been good.
Life's good. Lord, keep blessing me. Keep blessing us. Keep blessing you guys.
Yeah. So.
Let's see what we got today. We got up here first. I got myself with Montel Fish's lo-fi album, his bedroom lo-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Which lo-fi. I was really stoked about because lately I've been really listening to some lo-fi, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, so like, Social Club Misfits has like their little group called Me and the Boys, and they released a lo-fi album as well.
Yeah.
It was called
good.
Always Sad on Sunday, and they came out with a lo-fi album. Montel Fish came out with the lo-fi album, so it's kind of like a lo-fi album month.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much lo-fi.
It's like it's the off season or something.
And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why. Me and the Boys, I saw that Marty posted that it was removed.
Uh-huh.
It was removed from all like platforms, and I don't know why, but it was pretty sick. I listened to it.
I did too.
The only thing I'm gonna mention this with other albums that came out this month, but the only thing I don't really like about it is that the tracks were only like 2 minutes. It's like, dude, like just make it longer, man, because I have to like repeat it like 3 times to like get my full satisfaction out of it, and then I'm like, okay, next song. But other than that, like, it was sick.
Yeah, Montel Fish's stuff was really good too. I think I'm still kind of waiting on to see some new good releases out of that guy, because his
Montel.
Yeah, because his stuff is always flames when it comes out.
Yeah, Montel's, I think, one of my favorite artists in, if you can call it Christian hip hop, because every now and then he doesn't really rap.
Yeah,
but like, it's just it's sick and refreshing to see someone so passionate.
He sings a lot. Yeah, he sings a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's like a new gospel artist.
Yeah. So he's really dope. Another thing that probably a lot of you guys know is Hillsong Worship's album. That came out is Awake. It had I probably won't say it's my favorite Hillsong Worship album, like, but
it's pretty up there for me.
It's up there.
It's up there for me. Like, it definitely overtakes a few of them.
I mean,
not that they've had a lot of them, but I mean, like,
they have some like different, what is it? Like different synths. They had different. It felt like kind of, I don't want to say Asian.
In this one?
Yeah, it just felt kind of like a weird, like, kind of like different vibe. Like the way they did the music, like I Will Praise You. It's like ding 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 ding. You know, it was like this kind of different. This is this different take on worship, which I thought was really sick. So,
dude, like, what I thought about this album was that it seemed to me that it was a lot like a Coldplay type of feel.
Really?
Yeah, like, I don't want to say the whole album was like that. I just want to like say maybe a couple songs that kind of reminded me of like a Coldplay feel. But I mean, I still really liked it though.
Yeah,
I still really liked it.
Yeah. So Hillsong Worship's album Awake, if you haven't listened to it, go check it out. It's pretty sick. I think He Shall Reign is probably my favorite, and I Will Praise You. But that's a pretty sick album.
Yeah.
Another thing, What's Understood 2 by 1K Few was released on the 31st of October, and that was pretty sick too. It had featured, I think my favorite song was the one with Lecrae, and I know you've been saying that you've been meaning to hear it, but I think it's pretty sick album. The Lecrae feature, I think, is my favorite. Wild and Out is what it's called.
Yeah.
And then he also made a song with Ty Brazzle and What Up RG.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Kung Fu, the song.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, the only thing I don't really like about that song is What Up RG's part at the very end. It's only like a minute.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like
a full feature kind
of.
thing.
Like, and then it just like ends and it's like, dude, like I wanted more. I wanted to hear more out of What Up RG, and I wanted the song to drag out a little bit more. But you know, that's the direction they went in creatively, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's like the only thing, because I don't like it when they do that. They can just like end the song abruptly, and like it just like you still want more, you know. And then like the feature, not only that, but the feature was like I just felt like it wasn't that long.
Yeah.
But other than that, like it's a sick album, and that came out on Halloween.
Which I mean, that's kind of an interesting day to drop the album, you know, because they're like Christians, so it's like, you know,
well, like the I don't want to get too much into that because I know there's a lot of Christians that celebrate it. You know, there's a lot of Christians who celebrate Halloween. We personally do not.
Yeah.
You know, that's just our take on it. We just don't really do that. But you know, everybody can do their own thing. But
yeah, everyone's gonna do their own thing at the end of the day.
Yeah. So.
But you know, I know I'm not gonna scold you for doing it.
Right. And I'm gonna plug in the song that I just recently released. It's called Melodies. See You Now. That track I released earlier this month. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. I pretty much just talk about.
Check it out.
Go check it out.
Don't sleep on the. Don't sleep on the kid.
Go stream it a little bit. I can't even talk. Yeah. The song is pretty much talking about how it's so hard to just leave our burdens on Jesus. It's like I have this lyric that says, "I rock these chains like I'm proud of them, but I keep them to myself." And pretty much what that means is like, you know, it's kind of like a metaphor. Like, you know, when you have chains, you're like, yeah, I'm rocking these chains. But then like spiritually, when you're in sin, you're rocking chains as well, even though no one's looking at them.
Yeah. You
have these chains tied up to you. And I say, I rock these chains like I'm proud of them, because you're pretty much out there just sinning, doing these things.
Yeah.
And you kind of are proud of them because you're doing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like in the song I talk about how Jesus breaks those chains, because we just like, all right, Jesus, I can't take it anymore. Like, just take my life. Just do what you have to do. And when we do that, he breaks the chains. He's like, okay, you're mine now. You're no longer a slave to sin. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot. It has a lot to do with that. And yeah, I feel like it's like I bump it in the car, dude. I don't know how, like, I don't know if that's weird, but
oh, you know like, what that reminds me of?
my worship music, like, that's like personal. You know what I mean? Like, that's a worship song that came from me directly to God, even though it's in the kind of electronic type of future bass. Mm-hmm. It, like, I connect with God, you know, through that song.
Yeah,
I can literally sing that song and I can probably cry. You know what I mean? Because that's just how I feel. That's like a worship song. Yeah. It's not just this song saying, like, you know, like kind of like flexing or anything like that. No. Yeah. No, it's like, it's straight up personal. It's on a personal level. But what were we saying?
That's great. No, I was gonna say that it reminds me of a story of Aziz Ansari, and in one of his stand-up comedies, I can't remember which one, but it was how he went to Kanye's house. Like, he was invited to Kanye's house.
This was before Kanye was Christian, right?
Right. But anyway, he's invited over to Kanye's house, so he walks in, and the first thing that he notices when he walks into his house was that his own music was on blast.
Kanye's own music?
Yeah. So he's just, you know, he's at home and he's just bumping his own music too.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's different for secular music and worship music. I think it's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah. So.
Of course. So. But that was a long time. That was a long time ago that I saw that.
Oh, it was a long time ago. That's funny.
But speaking of,
well, hold on. Cortes released an album, Headspace.
Yeah.
That was sick, man.
He has released a few of those songs.
Yeah.
like maybe 3 of them off of it. So there was like maybe, think about it, it's like 7 tracks maybe.
Yeah, there was like 4 tracks that you haven't heard.
Yeah, there was like 4 tracks. So he released about half of it.
Yeah.
But
which was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But when you got the full package, you were stoked about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Nonetheless, we were like excited to hear it.
Yeah.
And
Cortes is a really good singer, I think.
Dude, yeah, he is. He's a really good singer. And like his flow, he's just different.
For real.
That's what stands him out.
He's like a, I want to say like a Christian R&B singer.
Yeah, he's like an R&B singer, but like then he comes out with like the raps too.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean. On some scale,
like
he's rapping.
Yeah, he like rap and then he'll get back like, you know what I mean? Like
they come back with the melodies and stuff. Yeah,
like that's sick. Like I think he's definitely. I'm excited to just hear more of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear like an album.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he's released a couple EPs.
Yeah,
but I want to hear an album, like a 16-track album,
full-length album.
Even if it was just him, dude, I don't really care if there's features on it. Like, I just want to hear, like, what would he do in an album? And, I don't know. Like, Cortes, keep it up, man. It's sick, man. It's like, he's one of my favorite artists, I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that takes us to, wait, what was your favorite track on it?
Ooh, I want to say, the one that comes right off the top of the mind is For the Best.
Yeah.
That one is probably my favorite.
Why?
I just really like it. I can't really say why.
It's like not even the message. It's just like... No, I think... Yeah, Dude, I'm like indecisive about 3 tracks.
Mm-hmm. The ones that he released?
The ones that he... So, okay.
Earlier?
For the Best is one of them.
Uh-huh.
Distance...
Yeah, Distance is another really good one.
That one's kind of like just like it makes you like bob to it, and then Won't Let Go, and like No He Won't Let Go. You know that one, like that one. I think all 3 of those are my favorite. When he says Won't Let Go, it's like Jesus, like God won't let go.
Yeah.
Like if you're in His hands, trust that He won't let go of you. Like that. That's why I'm like. I just like screamed that one out like when I put it on in the car.
Uh-huh.
And Distance, it's like that reminds me of
I'm gonna put a little camera in your car, and you're not gonna see it. And
dude, we're gonna feature it on here. You're gonna see me like
just while it out in the car on your drive home, getting off work.
Yeah, and like the other one is Distance, and that one's like just a little bit fast moving, and it just like it reminds me of Isaiah. You know, where he's just like, God's like, who shall I send? Who's going to go for me? Mm-hmm. And Isaiah's like, here I am, send me. So he's like, and then that's pretty much what Cortes is saying in the track. And then For the Best. Everything happens for the best.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about this, I think, in the last Godcast, so we won't get too much into that. But that kind of takes us to Kanye West, man.
Kanye West.
Good old Kanye.
Before I was Christian, I really liked Kanye. And then something happened, and then I kind of didn't like Kanye all that much anymore. I think it was towards the end of his, I want to say, musical career. And I don't want to say that it was over, but he just wasn't putting stuff out like he used to.
Mm.
You know? In comparison to like his graduation album, to like his releases, to...
It's funny because when I was in, high school? Middle school?
Mm-hmm. I'm
23 right now, but when I was, in middle school or whatever, I think he came out with his, or was it high school? Like, maybe it was my freshman year or 8th grade year. He came out with My Dark Twisted Fantasy, and that one was the last album that I really listened to from Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember me and my friend Robbie, we'd always listen to it. We were always bumping it.
Yeah.
And after that, I never really heard Kanye's stuff again. Like, I'd hear a track here and there, but I was like, I don't know.
Like,
secular music just isn't like a thing for me. But, when someone shows me like, oh, have you heard this track or something like that? Like I listened to it, and I was like, oh dang, like that's Kanye now. Like, like I didn't really think much of it. Is the thing. And then with this whole transformation, it's like, it's
crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's like nuts. Kanye. Like if you keep this up, you're gonna be my #1 artist again.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, dude. And I mean, all right, so. We'll continue talking about Kanye here in a second, but let's get back to the music real quick.
Okay.
So his album, Jesus is King, which is an awesome name for an album, like right up front,
well,
right
cool.
to the meat and
I saw an interview. Yeah, I saw an interview where he was just like, he was with the church, and the church was like, well, maybe we should call it, Jesus Christ or something like that, or something, and it's like Christ something. And they were saying like, because Jesus is King is too much, for like the average listener. They might just be like, well, what, like, So he was just like, the Christians were telling me that it was too much. Yeah. And he was just like, no. As soon as, if I put Jesus is King, we have over 1 million people saying Jesus is King. Yeah. And I was like, dang, like, that's crazy. Yeah. But what were we saying?
That's a crazy revelation right there.
Yeah, it was just like,
like just to get them to even say the name of the album.
Yeah,
get them to say Jesus is King.
10 million people listen to me. Mm-hmm. Well, 10 million people are gonna say Jesus is King. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. And so his music in that album is it's kind of crazy. Yeah, like it's got a lot of gospel influences, just because, he came out of a gospel church, back when when his moms was still around, his late mother, and so I'm pretty sure he drew inspiration from that, because I mean even the first song, Every Hour, like it starts off like that. It starts off with a...
And he's got, like, his Sunday service choir.
Which is even crazy. Yeah, it was even crazier, dude, because, like...
If you guys haven't seen, like, the interviews with Kanye, go check him out. Like, he's proclaiming Jesus, man. Yeah. It's not like, oh, yeah, I went to church and got inspired and I made a track. No, it was like... No.
And now it's like...
Jesus is King.
Yeah.
He's my Lord and Savior. Like, he is, like, full-fledged. When you become a new Christian, when you become a born-again Christian, that's what you are.
That first love.
It's the first love. Like, you just want to say, Jesus is King. Literally. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, he's in that phase. Even though he accepted Jesus back in April, he's gone through this whole year just kind of transforming himself. Yeah. And then when he released this project, I was like, man, I'm going to listen to it. Yeah, because I was like, I'm curious to see, because throughout this whole year we've been seeing, like he has I remember I was talking to you about this earlier this year when they started doing the Sunday services. They asked Kim Kardashian on an interview, like, oh, so like, is this like a church? Is this like are you guys doing like this church type of thing? She was like, no, this is kind of like a thing where, it's not necessarily just for God. It's like just to come in, have a good time, stuff like that. And it progressively became into, no, this is pretty much church. Yeah. And, Kanye talks about that, where they were like, okay, like you have this huge choir and all this stuff and it's bumping, it's rocking. But where's the word, man? Where's the word? He's like, people need the food. Yeah. And then he was just like, he goes and talks to his dad, and his dad is like, yeah, you need to have word in your service. And then he was just like, Google it. He's like they got into this discussion, like really? Argument, like, yeah, you need word. They're like, what? Like, Google it. He's like, Dad, you know how many things I had to Google because you weren't there? It's like, oh. But he was just like, but all this thing just got transformed. What I want to, get to the point of is throughout the whole year, it was from something that wasn't very much like church at all to something that's evolved to completely almost like identical to church. A church. It's literally,
they're pop-up churches.
Yeah. So it's crazy, man.
Hopefully it makes it out over here sometime.
Yeah, right. Well, I told you, like, as soon as Kanye comes to Denver on his Jesus is King tour, hopefully he does, like, we're there.
Dude, But because it's Kanye, I really hope that his ticket prices aren't expensive, dude.
I feel like they kind of would be, because in the song he says, "That's why I charge the prices that I charge.
Yeah.
I cannot let my family starve." So I don't know. I'd still be down to see him, depending on how much the ticket is.
Mm.
But you know, it's
but not even Hillsong has that kind of expensive tickets.
I know, but I mean, I don't know. I've never gone to a Kanye West show,
dude.
So I don't know.
I've seen tickets sort of go for like $300.
No way for a ticket.
Yeah, this was back when he was doing secular music, dude. I don't know if it's still gonna be the same.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know how many people are bumping and rocking with him now that he's saying he's Christian.
Yeah.
So maybe prices would go down. I don't know, to fill it up.
Yeah.
You know what's also crazy is that Kanye said when we were making Jesus is King album, I had people fasting and praying and not having premarital sex.
Yeah, which is nuts.
That's crazy. Because as Christians we know.
Yeah.
We know if you want to see the power of God, you have to fast. You have to pray. You have to do these things, because when you get on the altar and you start, ministering, that's where the Spirit of God moves. So if there's a Christian, let's say your worship team at your church just smokes weed and does all this stuff and then just hops on, and you're like, man, I really don't see the Spirit moving at all, that can be the reason. Now, God works in mysterious ways, but that's the overall mentality you should have.
Mm-hmm.
You should be praying and fasting, just like it says in the Bible. The Levites,
Yeah.
They were literally set apart from everybody, and they were consecrating themselves for God. So when they'd be there to worship, the whole atmosphere would change. And that's why people have encounters with God during worship.
Yeah.
Because the worship team is really dialed in with God. And then when I heard Kanye say that about fasting and praying and no premarital sex and all this stuff, it was like, dang, you're on the right road there, Kanye.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't even hear Christian artists say that.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I have seen when Hillsong wanted to make an album and they were like, all right, we need to separate ourselves real quick.
Yeah. Yep. That's really cool. Yeah. They're like, okay, we want to make an album. Let's fly out to New York where we have that place, and let's just build this album, just separate us from our families and separate us from everything else, and just dedicate ourselves to God right there.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's powerful.
Yeah.
I think. Because
I don't think any of their spouses are in the band together with them, are they? Because
I know in the Young and Free there is, but yeah, I don't think
in the United.
Yeah, in the United or Hillsong Worship. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's pretty powerful. If you want, I think that's kind of a tip for anybody. If you want to make a song, you can make a song. Anybody can make a song.
But if you really
want God's presence in it,
if you really want to connect,
try praying.
Try praying for one. And try fasting another.
And then just really matching it to what the Bible says.
Yourself.
Yeah.
And sanctify yourself.
Sanctifying yourself, yep.
And then provoke God.
Yeah.
And then see what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Because that's when miracles happen, dude.
Yep.
When you got all three going on, especially.
Mm-hmm. And dude, you know what's crazy is that Kanye said that he was in the interview, he was like, man, I don't even know if God wants me to be a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was just I think it was a Big Boy, and he was just yeah, he's like, I heard you say that. He's like, what do you mean by that? Then he was just like, man, I used to say all this stuff, and I used to work for the devil, all this stuff,
Yeah.
Ever since, I think another powerful thing that he said is he was so influenced by porn. Ever since he picked up, when he was 5 years old, he picked up a porno mag that his dad had left there, just lying around.
Yeah.
And he picked it up, and ever since then, he was captivated by it. Which is crazy that he's now speaking up and saying, man, I have all these albums came out, and every single time I knew it could be a masterpiece, but every single time I always had to add it in there. I always had to add that porn in there somehow. And then he was like, and now I'm free of it. Now I'm no longer a slave to it. And it's just like, dude, keep preaching it, man, because there's so many like youth out there who, you know, you go anywhere, man. You can go on Instagram, go on Snapchat. Every time I go on Snapchat, there's always something there with some chick with her bra. There's always something there where there's this chick just like super like semi-nude, man.
Starting to see a lot of my friends start doing that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, and it's just like it's everywhere.
I'm like, yo, chill. Like, we're friends. Like, I don't want to be looking at you like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like all this stuff,
trying to make me feel some type of way. Come on.
Right. And it's like, you know, it's so out there. It's so like accepted in our social.
Yeah, like it keeps getting more and more normal for everyone to just sell sex, dude. Yeah. Like slowly this is becoming more and more like Sodom and Gomorrah, dude. Like the US is turning into a huge cesspool.
Yeah. So just having Kanye speak on that and saying, you know, I'm no longer bound to porn. Yeah. Like the devil had me at one point, but now I'm Jesus Christ.
And you know, and like going back to that whole thing, like this is why I have such huge trouble like finding a good girl for myself, is because they don't hold the traditional values that they held back then. And sure, you can like argue and say, oh well, back then, you know, women didn't have rights and blah 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 blah. But well, okay, sure, like all right, that's not the kind of traditional values that I'm talking about. I'm talking about like being loyal to one another. You know what I mean? Like if you want to, you know, I don't condone it, but like if that's the way you like to live, then, you know, then go ahead and be happy the way you want to be.
Sure.
You know, but I know for myself, I want to get out to find someone who's gonna be loyal to me. You know, like I don't want to have to worry about the next dude that comes along. You know, like. You know, me and my girlfriend are going to be there for each other because, like, when it comes to my girlfriend, she's going to be my best friend. Right. You know?
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not going to have to worry about the next dude coming along, you know, eyeing her up because, you know, now he's interested. And
I think that's why there's so much distrust.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, you just keep seeing it more and more in the media. Like, why even have labels anymore kind of thing?
Right.
You see it a lot in this town, dude. Like, there's so many guys out here who can't hold girlfriends because girls just want to fool around, dude.
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I saw this meme the other day. It was like, when did the roles get reversed? like when guys were players and then girls were, you know, the ones not wanting to do not wanting to do the playing, and now like the roles are reversed is what I've seen. But I just thought it was funny. I thought I'd bring it up.
Man. Yeah, dude.
But still, like, that all goes back into the whole like porn thing. Like, you know, you watch porn and you start objectifying the male or female in the video. And then, so you break away from the traditional values that, you know, one is raised on.
Yeah.
I keep looking outside because the wind is kicking up and the banana plant is like flopping around everywhere.
We'll bring it in a second.
Yeah, we gotta bring it in.
But yeah, dude. So having Kanye, you know, become Christian like this, I think it's great, man. I know a lot of Christians are like, well, you know, let's see how long he lasts. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see his true colors here in a bit. And I know there was a lot of Christians who were not messing with Kanye for the sole purpose because of what he did in his previous years. You know what I mean? We were one of them. We were one of them because we were like, what is he doing with this whole Jesus thing?
Yeah.
He's demanding praise on stage.
On stage.
Yeah, and he's doing all this stuff. And I heard him in an interview saying, yeah, The Life of Pablo, that was supposed to be my first gospel album. That was supposed to be the first one. And he's like, and I had to add that chick with the thong on the cover art. He was just like, man, The devil had me, bro. I bet he was real happy then. What is your favorite song from Jesus is King?
I think my favorite song from Jesus is King was On God and Water. Yeah, those two. Everything We Need is also a really good one, honestly.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think mine has to be On God because it gives off that kind of like old Kanye beat. It's like this really like synthy beat. But Chick-fil-A has to be another one. Hands On and Everything We Need. They it's like I mentioned earlier. The songs just could have been longer. They could have been longer. They ended it so like every song was like 2 to 3 minutes, and I was like, no, like I want to hear more, and that's like the only thing. But yeah, Everything We Need. There was that lyric that I've mentioned that says, "What if Eve made apple juice? Are you gonna do what Adam do, or are you gonna say, baby, let's put this back on the tree because we have everything we need?" And I just fell in love with that.
Yeah.
And that just right there could be a sermon of its own. So yeah, that song is like awesome. But yeah, I think that's it for this Godcast.
I think so. I think that was it.
Thanks guys for tuning in to the Godcast. This is episode 4. We'll see you guys next month.
Boom.
Later.